Thank you. Yeah. So you one thing you don't have to look at the camera if you don't want to. Yeah. So.
Is this gonna make me famous?
Yeah. Okay. Let me see. So, what? Sorry, these are. The whole reason I started my senior project was because I wanted to, like, you live in Baldwin Park, so are you familiar with, like, El Monte, Rosemead? Yeah, so I used to...
My sister lives in El Monte.
Oh, yeah, I used to go to school, if you know Temple Intermediate. Mm-hmm. I used to go to the middle school there, and I grew up, and then I moved here, and you see Laverne and Pomona. They're so close to each other.
Yeah.
They're not even 10 miles apart, like Pasadena or, like, South LA and Beverly Hills. Those are 10 miles apart, but Pomona and Laverne are right next to each other. Okay. How is it possible that we have such a difference? Other than what I've noticed first, race, other than that, our cleanliness, how is it that we have successful cities with successful students, healthy behaviors, healthy beliefs, and the opposite end of the spectrum? Like that, to me, that blew my mind. I couldn't believe that. No. So that's what I'm working on, is to see. And now I learned the history of it and why. Like I looked at history and how. It was on race. That's what happened, is that you see second-class citizenship and first-class citizenship among them. But yeah, I don't want to get into that. But
exactly, no. Yeah. It could happen. I mean, it's just like Claremont, too. Claremont is right
Claremont
next door, too.
Yeah.
It's just like literally one street.
Exactly, yeah.
My aunt actually lives by Indian Hill. And on San Bernardino in that area.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you go to the left, that's Claremont already. So, but you see the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, how would you define... Oh, I think that's my... Mom, hold on. How would you define underprivileged?
Underprivileged when it comes to students or overall?
Both.
Okay. So I think when it comes to, like, underprivileged, to me it will be someone that, that doesn't have the adequate resources to be able to succeed whether in life, educationally, personally. I see sometimes that students may have the ambition of having someone to reach out to them, or the ambition of becoming someone themselves. But I feel that sometimes, because of all the different stereotypes, I feel that if we're not careful as administrators or as counselors or whoever the position is, it could be easy to make a judgment and therefore box someone in, and therefore we only see from a certain worldview, from that lens that maybe is not necessarily what the student would like for us to see them with, So, in someone who comes from a very humble background, I think that having the resources to be shown to them, look, actually we do have these resources, we actually do have these programs to help you. Your first generation, actually there's support for you to be able to help you. But I think before any of that, if we can't get to the students, which happens sometimes too, we have certain schools, for example, that will say, oh, no, we don't need you to do presentations here, not about community colleges. Okay, so, but then we notice that more than 40% of your students are going to the community college. Who's guiding them? Oh, so that's when you start getting into that, okay, so are you working more with those university-bound students, or what's happening to the other students? Are they being left behind, and they're being left to do nothing? So who's choosing for them? So I feel that sometimes that happens a lot. When someone comes from an underprivileged background, then someone else is choosing in all aspects for them. And it might not be the best choices, that we might.
Where does underprivileged youth begin? Like, let's say in the terms of Pomona, when do we start to see the term used, or underprivileged? Is that going to make sense?
Yeah, it does. But see, the thing is that I just don't want to, miscategorize something, because although I know a little bit about Pomona, I don't live there, so I don't know. The only comparison that I could have would be maybe Baldwin Park, that may be similar cities in a way. But I feel that everything starts, when it comes to schooling, I think it starts in middle school. Towards I want to say maybe starts towards the last years within middle school. Maybe 7th or 8th grade. And this, it goes back to even inequality, and this is gender-wise. What I noticed with some research that I've done, let's put this example, females are very strong within the sciences and with the mathematics up to the 7th grade, from what I researched. And then something happens when they're now starting to have doubts, and then they go into like high school and things have changed. So, and now you see that instead of going to the sciences, they might pursue other areas.
The social
right?
sciences.
Exactly. So
or
behavior and all that.
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So, which there's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is that something kicks in during that time. And I think that's where all the inequality starts happening. Because of, it could be that maybe within the professions, we might be the ones pushing for that. And I don't know, because again, I don't directly work in those settings, so I don't want to misjudge anything like that either. But I feel that that's where things start to develop. And if there's no resources to guide in that in that sense, then I think that's when we're going to start losing some of the talents.
In of what you've seen here, why did some kids make it or pursue college or before university and some don't?
Okay, I think from what I've seen here specifically, I think this is, since I work here for so many years, I can definitely answer that even better. I've seen different extremes. For example, students who are homeless, students who have nothing at all, and they somehow are able to do it. They're able to survive. They're able to move forward. Although they didn't have much, the little that they had, they use it to the best that they can. I know of students that have even actually showered here at the campus because they didn't have anything at home to be able to do it. So I think that's the type of students that, and then you see the other students maybe that have some things, maybe have some financial assistance and things like that, and they're not succeeding as much. And I think what it comes down to, from my experience, first it has to do with support. Is the support somehow at home? And sometimes maybe even if it is not there, is there any support at all? In the students that I've seen succeed, a lot of the time the family has been behind them, but in a good way. Because family could be good, a great support, or not. And I've seen both ways. I've seen too where, going back again to the gender thing, a lot of the parents still have that mentality of a female not going too far to study or not going to a university. I've seen it. I had sat down with parents, especially male parents, and let them know that they need to go to school. And this is very amazing because it's happening right now. Last year I had to do this. This is not something that it's not happening anymore. So even to that extreme, that going back to the whole thing of like part of inequality. I feel that education is the only equalizer, and that if we don't have that for everyone to be the same, then what are we doing? And what's happening lately, within the news and all the reports, now our females are going up here and our males are down here. So there's not the, we can never get it right to help right, because now we have less people, less professional, which means less role models as well when it comes to our students. So if you look in here, student services, for example, almost any student services, you're going to see predominantly more females than males. So having that balance, I feel that we can definitely work on that. I don't know if I'm going on a tangent.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. But you can. Do you need an answer? Or should I let it ring? Or because I'm filming, I don't know if I should.
No. Hey, I'm still in the interview. I'm doing an interview right now. Okay. I'll be done shortly. So I think. Right.
Sorry. Yeah. Thank you. Of what you've seen and does high school prepare a student for college?
I think that I think it depends where the student went to school, honestly. And I don't know, taking that context, this could be a little bit bad, but I always heard this, and I'm like, okay. So people always told me, oh, the high schools are the same. I'm like, okay. I personally have visited so many campuses. We have 48 campuses within the radius in Mount Sac, and they're not the same. The high schools are not the same. The treatment that is received is not the same. The resources available at the schools are not the same. the classroom setting is not the same. I've seen it. So within that scenario, then who's preparing better the students? I feel that the little bit of higher income settings are preparing students a lot better for college than those who have less resources. And I feel that this is truthful. I mean, this is happening. I've seen it for so many years. That is not to say that a low-income high school might not prepare the student, because there's also Title I schools that get a lot of resources as well. But who's more attracted to work where? So that has to do also with the type of individuals, the professionals you bring in. Those who have the attitude of like, you know what, yes, let's do it. You're gonna go to this like Stanford, you're gonna go to like the big schools, or we'll see. Like the attitude, like you might go to community college. Well, community college is a good place to start. My saying is always, it's not where you start, but it's where you end. Because truthfully, I know that the community college system works. I know it does. So it really saddens me to know that people tell all their students, like, no, don't go there. So some people prefer that these kids don't go anywhere than to go to a community college. And that keeps perpetuating the whole thing of poverty and whatnot. Because what are we learning?
That makes sense.
And teaching as well. So, yeah.
Thank you. That was a good perspective. How do you think underprivileged kids can be most helped? What's the number one factor on helping an underprivileged person become successful? Or if there's many.
I think there's a lot, but I think a few. I will mention a few. First, financial awareness. I really keep saying this everywhere, that if we don't teach our students on how, like, that there's money out there, regardless of their backgrounds, then we're not doing our job. Number one thing, and I'm saying this because I have worked with so many students, and the number one thing students tell me is like, I don't know if I'm going to go to college. One, because I don't have money, and second, because no one in my family has done it. Well, because of that reason, we need to create more resources and more programs, and have people running those programs who truly care. You're getting people sometimes that don't really care about the outcome. They just want to know that, you know what, my paycheck is good, that's all I care about. I'm in this field, honestly, because I care, and I want to make a difference. And when I'm done here, at the end of the day, I go home and I go satisfied that I change people's lives. That's what I think about. And every day, I go back to the same thing, because I know that I'm changing lives. I feel it that way. And when students come back and they're done and they go and transfer to universities, I'm like, oh my God, I feel that I did my job. So I keep me going.
It's good. It's also, it's nice because it's not like you hear people, I don't want to go to work today. It's kind of like, when you go home. You love that. I can tell. It's nice. It's nice. See, that's what I feel that sometimes we don't have, is like people like you that want to help the kids, that they want what's best for the kids. And sometimes, like in this documentary, you'll see the difference between like 10-year teachers and those who aren't on tenure, or those who are on the one contract plan. There's a complete difference. You see the teachers that will give their all, and you see the whoever, like student services, give their all on those. So I can tell, that you really enjoy it. It's nice to see.
And I mean, just really quickly, like research shows actually that after 5 years of you working in a certain profession, if you don't have good role models, or you don't have training, or you don't have the proper tools, you will easily, be moving on to something else. And I think personally, what has kept me grounded is the students, the stories. That I'm like, you know what? Yes, that's right. That's what I'm here for. Because I remember I was there not too long ago. It's been a while, but still, it reminds me.
Do you think, because I know that here the government offers a lot of grants for the students, a lot of scholarships that students don't know about, or because we're not told, I guess. But I know that I went to the seminar, and there's so many things that I didn't even know existed, but that's the reason we have these seminars. Because you said you've gone to the high schools, and of what you know about the high schools, do you think that the government provides enough support for kids?
I feel that there are resources, but I feel that maybe the ways of targeting the individuals with those resources needs to be rethought about. So how do we reach out? Through internet, okay? But again, going back to media, there's so many ways that you can reach out. A video right now is like literally 30 seconds and you already got people's attention. And that's something that I have proposed at, and hopefully next year we do it. I was in Pomona actually because I'm working with the Pomona schools with the different scholarships. Tonight I'm going to be going to Gary High School to help with, with FAFSA, Dream Act and all that. Tomorrow I'm going to La Puente High School, so different high schools, right? So one of the things that I proposed is that we all dress up, between the month of January and March, like literally, like promote financial aid. Like let's wear t-shirts that we design that says, I can go to college, you can go to college, there's money. Like ways that people can like, oh wow, I didn't know this. Let's create a competition that the students can be creative, because I feel that creativity can't be taken away. Like you said it earlier in one of, I think, the films. So we're just creating, I don't know, like I feel that we're not doing what we could be doing. Money is out there. Money is there. But we need to know how to teach our students to get it.
Is college the best route for a student to break, an underprivileged student to break the poverty cycle? Because I feel, are there like those outliers that don't go to high school but they're successful? Or is college the efficient, best way to get out of that?
I personally feel that in my own, I want to use myself as an example. I can't speak on everyone, but I feel that education, and also because I work in an educational setting, I want to say that education does break that cycle. I really believe in that. Personally, again, when I started this position, for example, or any position, I don't do it because of the money. But the compensation comes with the experience and comes with the degrees that you have. So right now, because of my education, I can tell you right now that I make more than my mom and my dad combined. Okay? And I don't make a lot. Okay? I make it clear. No.
That's good.
But what I'm saying is that, like, I'm making more than they are. And they don't have an education. But I do. I had the privilege that a lot of my friends didn't have. And I think that it's important to know that not everyone gets that privilege. And I go back to that, our students, that we need to provide more support and really have more role models. And because someone else, the other day someone told me, but the students also need to be motivated. They need to do it themselves. Yes, you're right. But when that's lacking, what can we do? I feel there's a lot we could do. But if we're not going beyond, we're not going to do it. So we need to reach out. And that's where the outreach part happens. You know how many students have told me that after they hear someone speak, after they heard my speech and everything, they change their mind. Now they know that they can go to college. And to me, that I've done my job. I've done what I need to do. So it's inspiring.
That's nice.
Yeah.
To sum it all up, I'm going to ask you my essential question. Yeah. To sum like everything that you've said, what's the most effective support system for an underprivileged youth to break the poverty cycle?
I think more than anything is really support. Having different types of support. I think that, being affiliated with certain programs, resources. For example, here at the college, we have a lot of resources that some students are not even aware of for first generation college students. We have, programs that provide money for textbooks. We provide the financial aid aspect of it. Now our students are able to get state aid, whether they're documented or undocumented. So that has changed. So providing the support when it comes to education, not only throw a student in there, but providing the support. There's a theory that talks about challenge and support, but also says challenge a student, support the student, but also be aware, is the student ready? Because sometimes it comes also down to readiness. If someone is not ready to do or pursue what they need to do, you can provide everything and might not, in the end, flourish as much as we wanted to. But it's a matter of time. And my thing is this, if I had 20 students, and out of those 20, I could get 5 to succeed fully, then I feel that we're doing something, because we're doing, we're helping a lot of them. Students have told me college is not for me. I've heard that many times. We sit down, we talk. A lot of students didn't know they could do a short career. and now they're making a lot of money. So it all depends. Everything at the end is like, what is the student wanting to do, and being there for the student. I feel personally, I am no one to judge as a person or as a professional to say you will make it but you won't make it. And I see that a lot in high school. I see it. There's tracking system, and they don't tell us, but there's tracking system. And some people they are in a privileged position, in a power position to do that, and whether aware or unaware, is being done. And sometimes even those who went through that process themselves are now doing it to others as well. And I'm talking, when I said them, I'm talking about people of color. I'm talking about all the, not too long ago, 50 years ago or so, how things worked. And we think that maybe there's been a lot of progress, but really hasn't been a lot of progress. But I think ultimately education is helping. I feel personally.
Okay, yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah. I do want to tell you, I feel like you'll really like this website. You can even look it up now if you want. It's mainly a website, all types of subjects, but they're like 10, no longer than 20-minute videos. But you can look at maybe watch, I'm sure. If you look at watch, there's education, like topics. There's so many things on education.